Hello guys, this is our next lecture regarding to diagnostics in the medical biotechnology subject, and here in this lecture we will discuss the monoclonal antibodies in the diagnostics. But before that, you all know that there is a coronavirus outbreak, so stay home and stay safe. This is for you, because as we stay home we are protected from the outbreak. As we know that as a biotechnology student, the coronavirus is the respiratory virus and it spreads very dramatically and aggressively amongst the people through sneezing, coughing. So hope you are safe and take care of yourself. So we'll start with our session. The session is about monoclonal antibody, which is used in the diagnosis. So in the introduction, if you see, the antibodies provide powerful tools for research and diagnosis purpose. The high specificity of antibodies makes them an excellent tool for detecting and quantifying a broad array of targets, from drug to serum proteins to microorganisms. With the in vitro assay, antibodies can be used to precipitate soluble antigen, agglutinate as a clone cell, or opsonize and kill the bacteria with the assistance of complement and neutralize drugs, toxins, and viruses. And antibody specificity, if we see the antibody specificity, the result from the antigen binding site formed within the variable regions. Variable regions, the regions of antibody that have a unique pattern of amino acid and that can only bind to a target antigen with the molecular sequence that provides complementary charges and non-covalent bonds. So this one is very important, where exactly these specific region joins. If you see, some antigens are so chemically similar that cross reactivity occurs. So cross reactivity means, in other hands, antibodies raised against one antigen bind to chemically similar but a different antigen. So cross reactivity is most likely to occur between antibodies and antigen that have a low affinity and avidity. If you see the diagram, that will show us that some polyclonal antibodies are there, some monoclonals are there, where they joins a different epitope site which is present on the antigen, and they bind at the different position with their specificity. So you see that there is a variable regions on antibody. You all know the structure of antibody, no need to explain in detail. So these variable regions are very specific. So we'll see what are the polyclonal antibody. So polyclonal antibodies used for the research and diagnostics purpose are often obtained by injecting a lab animal such as rabbit or goat with a specific antigen. Within a few weeks, the animal immune system will produce high levels of antibody specific for antigen. These antibodies can be harvested in an antiserum, which is a whole serum collected from the animal following exposure to the antigen. Because most antigens are complex in structures with a multiple epitopes, they result in the production of multiple antibodies in the lab animal. This is so called it as polyclonal antibody. If you see in the diagram is elaborating the whole process, how exactly they are generating, or the laboratory people are generating polyclonal antibodies, where injection into the rabbit with a particular antigen or the diseased virus, bacteria, protozoal species. The B cell will generate the specific antibody which is attached or adhere to the epitope region of the antigen. There are enormous amounts of antibodies is going to produce from the B cell. So memory B cells remains as it is in the mouse or in the laboratory animal, and they produces polyclonal antibodies. So here the next procedure is very important. The important procedure is producing monoclonal antibodies, and that we will see in the next section, in the next slide. So here obtained antiserum from the rabbit containing polyclonal antibodies. What are the clinical uses of these polyclonal antibodies or antisera? Polyclonal antisera are used in many clinical tests that are designed to determine whether the patient is producing antibodies in response to particular pathogen. While the tests are certainly powerful diagnostic tools, they have their own limitations because they are an indirect means of determining whether the particular pathogen is present or not. Test is based on polyclonal response that sometimes lead to false positive result. In other words, a test that confirms the presence of antigen that is in fact not present. So how this is happen, like a false positive test. And in the other hand, antibody based test can also result in false negative result, which occurs when the test fails to detect the antibody that is in fact present in the patient. The accuracy of antibody test can be described in terms of test sensitivity and test specificity. Test sensitivity is probability of getting a positive test result when the patient is indeed infected. If the test has a high sensitivity, the probability of the false negative test is low. So now, to overcome this problem, we have another antibody test kit which is specifically made up of monoclonal antibody preparation. Like the blood sample from the patient is suspected having a hepatitis C, suppose, that can screen for the viruses using antibodies that binds to antigen on hepatitis C virus. If the patient is indeed infected with the hepatitis C virus, the antibodies will bind to the antigen and yielding a positive test result. If the patient is not infected with the hepatitis C virus, the antibody will generally not bind to anything and the test should be negative. So however, in the false positive may occur if the patient has been previously infected by any of the variety of pathogen that elicit antibodies that cross react with the hepatitis C virus antigen, and the antibody test kit will give us a false positive result, and likewise false negative also. So the confirmatory test is a more expensive and time consuming test that directly tests for the presence of hepatitis C viral DNA in the blood. So polyclonal antisera is more effective, but compared to the monoclonal antisera or antibodies, test kits are more specific and sensitive. Likewise, we'll just look towards the basic information how we are going to produce the monoclonal antibodies through hybridoma technology. You all know that Cole and Milestone, they have already discovered this technology and got a Nobel Prize also for their own research. So the test will go shortly how and why and how exactly hybridoma technology works. So the antigen, specific antigens being injected to the mouse, so that mouse will produce a particular B cells who produces specific antibodies which is adhering to the antigen. And in the other hand, the other species who is having a myeloma line, like the cancerous cells who is spreading aggressively uncontrolled growth of cells of myeloma cells. So we are fusing these two cells, the B cells who is producing, or memory cells who is producing that antibodies, and the myeloma cells which is having a capacity to develop aggressively or uncontrolled growth. And the fused cells we are going to select based on the selective media. You all know that media, HAT media. And the HAT media gives us the exact cells who is producing antibodies. So in short, the hybridoma technology is helpful to select and produce monoclonal antibodies specifically bind to that antigen and gives us a good result. So what are the clinical uses of monoclonal antibody? If you see the uses, the it is necessary to create humanized monoclonal antibody. Sorry, by mistake, the spelling is not fulfilled. Mouse antibodies cannot be injected repeatedly into the humans, is it? So right now, for that purpose, the humanized antibody has been prepared, and they are actually using in the monoclonal antibodies, because the immune system will recognize them as being a foreign and will respond to them with a neutralizing antibodies, and this problem can be minimized the genetically engineered antibody in the mouse B cell. You all know that the variable regions of the mouse light and heavy chain genes are ligated to the human constant regions. We have already studied in the uh, animal biotechnology how we are going humanized antibody, the xenomouse, and the chimeric genes is then transferred into the host cell. These allows production of monoclonal antibodies that is mostly human, with only the antigen binding site being of the mouse origin. If you see that in the diagnostic tools, in the diagnosis in terms of hormonals or hormones which has been produced in our body in response to different diseases or in response to different disorders, we'll take one example. During the pregnancy, the female is generating particular hormone, elevated hormones, that is HCG. So this HCG elevated level is going to detect by attachment of particular monoclonal antibody. So here is the test kit right now present into the market in the pregnancy test kit, where there are two detection sites are there. One is for normal or a negative result and one is for positive results. We need to place the urine drop on these uh, plate, so that with the help of some capillarity action that we have already know with the chromatography procedure, like the membrane chromatography or paper chromatography, is the same, like the urine just get passed through these strip, and here on the test size there are antibodies are situated which are specifically bind to HCG coded or HCG attached antibody. So if there is a HCG antibodies is there, they will immediately join to our antibody and gives us a test result positive, which is labeled with a particular dye. But in the control side, in other side, the labeled antibody is normal antibody, which is attached to any antibody which is presenting into the urine. So if it attaches, the other antibodies are normally present in our urine, blood and saliva also. Where this antibody is attached, gives us another test result with the labeled dye and gives us a result. If there is a absence of pregnancy, the absence of HCG, so no result will be there on the test side, and there will be result only on the control side. If there is a HCG which is present in the urine, immediately there is a test result get positive and it gives colored line. So this is how hormone based antibodies tests are working. So in the summary, if you say the antibodies bind to high specificity to the antigen used to challenge the immune system, but they may also show cross reactivity by binding to other antigens that shares chemical properties with the original antigen. Injection of the antigen into the animal will result in polyclonal antibody response, in which different antibodies are produced that react with the various epitopes on the antigen. The polyclonal antisera are useful for some types of laboratory assay, but the other assay requires more specificity. So because of that, it gives the false positive and false negative results also. So monoclonal antibody provide high specificity than the polyclonal antisera because they bind to single epitope and usually have a high affinity. Monoclonal antibodies are typically produced by the culturing antibody screening hybridomas derived from mice. Monoclonal antibodies are currently used to treat cancer also, but their exorbitant cost has prevented them from being used more widely to treat infectious diseases Still, their potential for laboratory and clinical use is